Scrolling is easy to quit in theory and very hard to quit in practice. And the reason is simple. You can't replace something with nothing. The boredom doesn't go away just because you deleted the app. What actually works is replacing it with something that gives your brain what it's actually looking for: stimulation, engagement, a sense of progress. So in this video, I'm going to share 7 things, and these 7 things do exactly that. And by the end of this, you'll understand why these particular activities are the most powerful replacements for the scroll habit that exists. Reading books with a pen. Reading by itself is good. Reading with a pen is a completely different activity, and the difference matters. When you read passively, then the retention rate is low, and the impact on your thinking is minimal. You finish the book, feel briefly informed, and within 2 weeks, most of it has faded. This is why a lot of people read consistently for years and still feel like they're not getting smarter or thinking differently. The reading isn't the problem, the passivity is. Reading with a pen changes that entirely. You underline what strikes you, write in the margins when something connects to your own experience or contradicts something you believed, put question marks next to things you don't fully understand yet, and summarize key ideas in your own words at the end of each chapter. This forces active engagement with the material, the same kind of active engagement that turns information into actual understanding. The reason this replaces scrolling so effectively is that it gives your brain the stimulation of encountering new ideas. But instead of that stimulation passing through you passively, you're processing it, responding to it, making it yours. Chess. Chess is one of the few activities that demands your complete attention while simultaneously training the most valuable cognitive skills you can build: pattern recognition, strategic thinking, consequence mapping, and the ability to hold multiple possibilities in your mind at the same time. What makes chess particularly powerful as a scrolling replacement is that it's genuinely impossible to play while distracted. You cannot have one eye on the board and one eye on your phone. The game demands full presence, and that demand, the requirement to be completely in one thing, is exactly the mental muscle that scrolling has been eroding. Learning to sit with that, analyze it, and come back with adjusted thinking rather than frustration is a mindset shift that goes far beyond the board. Writing online. Writing is thinking made visible, and sharing that writing on X, LinkedIn, Medium, a personal blog, anywhere with a real audience adds a layer of accountability and feedback that private journaling can't replicate. When you write for an audience, even a small one, you can't be vague. You have to know what you actually think, structure it clearly enough for someone else to follow, and defend it against the questions a reader might have. This process, if you've done consistently, sharpens your thinking at a rate that almost nothing else can match. You discover what you actually believe about things, where your understanding is shallow, and where you have something genuinely worth saying, all through the act of trying to put it into words for someone else. The personal brand angle is real, but secondary to the cognitive benefit. The primary reason to write online is what it does to the quality of your thinking. The audience and the opportunities that follow are the byproduct of someone whose thinking has been sharpened through consistent public writing over time. Nature walking without your phone. This one is the simplest on the list and possibly the most underestimated. Walking in nature without your phone does something to the brain that I think almost no other activity replicates. It activates what neuroscientists call the default mode network, the brain's resting state system that is responsible for creativity, self-reflection, emotional processing, and the formation of long-term memory. Scrolling suppresses this network. Every time you fill a quiet moment with stimulation, you're preventing your brain from doing the background processing that keeps your thinking clear and your emotional state balanced. The accumulated cost of never giving your brain genuine quiet time is a kind of mental fogginess that most people have normalized because they've never experienced the alternative. 20 to 30 minutes of walking in nature without your phone, done regularly, produces measurable improvements in mood, creativity, and cognitive clarity. And it's not a luxury. It's maintenance for the most important tool you have. Learning public speaking.
The fear of public speaking is so common, it's almost a cliche. And most people's response to that fear is avoidance. They never put themselves in situations that require it. They stay comfortable. And the fear stays exactly where it is for decades. Learning public speaking is one of the highest leverage investments you can make in yourself. The ability to stand in front of people or a camera or a room of colleagues or a client and communicate clearly, confidently, and with genuine presence changes how every room you walk into receives you. It changes your career trajectory, your ability to sell ideas, your relationships, and your own self-perception in ways that are hard to overstate. Start with a local Toastmasters group, record yourself talking about something you know well, or simply practice explaining complex ideas out loud to yourself. The discomfort of the early practice is the whole point. You're building the tolerance for being seen and judged, and that tolerance is one of the most valuable things a person can develop. Photography. Photography trains something that most people have almost completely lost: the ability to look at the world around them, slowly and carefully enough to actually see it. When you shoot with intention, you're constantly asking, what is worth capturing here? What angle makes this more interesting? What is happening in the light right now that won't be happening in 5 minutes? These questions force a quality of present attention that is the direct opposite of the glazed, passive state that scrolling produces. You're not consuming the world. You're actively engaging with it, finding meaning and beauty in things you would have walked past without noticing. Photography also produces a body of work that grows over time, a visual record of how you see the world, a skill that compounds with practice. And unlike most hobbies, it gives you an immediate reason to be present wherever you are, which makes every ordinary environment potentially interesting. Building something. The last one is the most broad and the most important. Building something, a YouTube channel, a website, a small business, an app, a newsletter, a piece of furniture, anything that requires sustained creative effort and produces something real, does something to your brain and your identity that no amount of consuming can replicate. When you build, you encounter real problems that require real solutions. You develop skills through necessity rather than through passive study. You produce something that didn't exist before you made it, which creates a relationship with your own capability that scrolling actively destroys. Scrolling makes you feel small. You're watching other people's lives, other people's creations, other people's highlights. Building makes you feel capable because you have direct evidence that you can make things happen in the real world. The common thread across all 7 of these is that they require something from you: attention, effort, patience, presence, and they give something real back in return. Something that accumulates, builds, and something that, over time, makes you a genuinely different and more capable person than the one who never replaced the scroll. So pick one and start this week. That's all for today. See you in the next one.